Yes, it's very good to see that Ireland is doing well in terms of a focus on children, and that's happening in all of the OECD countries, this focus on children, on childhood, and doing the very best for our children. However, there are lessons there about what we need to be focusing on. We do need to be focusing on the more vulnerable children, ensuring that they get the kind of services, the early intervention services, that will ensure that they continue to do well and will do well in later life.
Bullying is still a big issue, Minister.
Surprisingly, bullying compared to other countries is a much more serious issue here, and that's very disturbing and shows that we were right as a government to focus on it, to bring out the action plan that Rory Quinn and myself brought out, and to work with all of the voluntary groups and the advocacy groups. It's a serious issue for our children.
Do you think your steps are sufficient?
Well, I think we're beginning to make a difference, but clearly it has to get the focus in schools, in community groups, in youth work settings. Wherever children are gathered, we have to interrupt any bullying that may be going on, put a focus on it, take action, because it is damaging children's lives and it's a serious issue here.
There's also a concern about the number of 15 to 19-year-olds who aren't in education. Is that something that would worry you?
Yes, that is the other area where we have a very serious issue which we have to address. The 15 to 19-year-olds who are not in education or training or work, the older young people, if you like, the youths who are unemployed. We seriously need to focus on that group and make sure that they stay in employment, stay in education, stay in training. But at present we have a high group outside of that, the so-called needs group, not in employment, education or training. And the report highlights in Ireland a particular issue in relation to that age group. So that is an area for serious policy focus and intervention.
Minister, it looks like we might get an extension on our bailout deal by about an extra 7 years. Is this something you think that will actually happen?
Well, the government has been working very hard, as you know, to deal with the huge threat that the levels of debt that we have presents to our people and to the country. And there is ongoing work to ensure that we get, we've already succeeded on the promissory note, and that we pay our debt over a longer period. And there's very serious negotiations going on in relation to that. And obviously we're hopeful that we will get an outcome that will ease the debt pressure.